Right now, the hurricane blamed for 21 deaths is just 36 hours from coming ashore. We have team coverage tonight, starting with CBS reporter Kenneth Craig, who joins us live from Miami, where time is running out to get out. Kenneth?
Sure is, Veronica. I can tell you, I've spent a lot of time in Miami, and it's really strange to see this place so quiet on a Friday night, other than just a few people here. So many places boarded up, but this is exactly what officials want as they ask millions of people to leave the state. Dozens of Irma evacuees lined up for shelter at this high school in Doral, Florida. It's the second shelter the Perez family has tried to get into, and 12-year-old Gabriella's first hurricane.
I'm scared for most of my friends because most of them are staying in their houses. And I keep telling them, you should come into a shelter because it's safer there.
The state's governor ordered all schools closed so they can be used as shelters and recovery staging areas. The lines to get in are growing.
This is a catastrophic storm that this state has never seen before.
The Keys will feel Irma first with a storm surge that could overwhelm the island chain.
Took everything we could that we didn't want to lose, and we're getting out.
All gas stations in the Keys are now closed, and the race is on to keep fuel flowing to south and central parts of the state. Here in Miami-Dade County alone, more than 650,000 people have been ordered to leave, the largest evacuation ever attempted in the county. This is what's coming. Early Friday, Irma slammed Turks and Caicos with 20-foot waves. Miami resident Jay Gomez was going to go.
I thought I might be more useful here and just help out as many people as I can.
Joe Logan is also staying, but not taking any chances with his boat.
During Andrew, when the surge came in, the boats went so high they later came down and impaled themselves on the pilings.
Lines are growing for last-minute supplies, and traffic is slow moving to points north. And if you're still planning to leave Miami tonight or tomorrow on a commercial aircraft, you are out of luck. The last flight leaves Miami tonight, Miami International, at 9:30, Veronica.
And Kenneth, as we look behind you, we see it as a ghost town. But overall, what has the mood been like there in Miami?
I think it's become more and more desperate over the last couple of days. I've been here since Wednesday. It's now Friday. People are recognizing the severity of the storm, and they're taking it very, very seriously. I asked one guy how he felt earlier today. He told me everybody here is very anxious. I think at this point, not that anybody wants this storm to come, but they certainly want to put this behind them, and the waiting game is not fun for anyone at this point, Veronica.
Yeah, as we can imagine. All right, Kenneth Craig live for us in Miami. Kenneth, stay safe out there. Thanks. All right, let's get the latest now on Irma's position from Chief Meteorologist Paul Deanno, who's been tracking the storm. Paul?
And Veronica, people talk about Hurricane Andrew back in 1992. That one kind of popped up and strengthened out of nowhere, so there wasn't that many days of being anxious. In this one, we've been watching it for more than a week. And yes, it is going to head directly towards South Florida, likely missing the north coast of Cuba, barreling through the central Bahamas right now. Watch the wind field. This is going to be very interesting because see the gusts, the strongest gusts hit the Florida Keys as soon as this time tomorrow, and watch that bubble of the strongest wind gusts move up to the north, enveloping Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, Naples, and Fort Myers all at once. Sunday, just before lunchtime, all of those cities may receive 100-mile-per-hour or stronger gusts. National Weather Service said this earlier today. There is not one single place in the Florida Keys to stay safe. So everybody needs to get out. This will likely be stronger than Andrew at landfall this weekend, and the wind and storm surge will be something that we have not seen in at least a generation in South Florida, and it happens this weekend. Back to you.
All right, Paul, thanks for that. People trying to avoid the hurricane are arriving at Bay Area airports. They are telling stories about people who were very happy to get out.
As we took off, when we were finally in the air, this one person just kind of did a slow clap and then kind of built it, and the whole plane just kind of went with it and did the slow clap with him. I think there was tension, not just because of the storm. The flight before us in the same gate got canceled because they didn't have enough flight attendants.
And we want to show you live flight tracker 24. This shows the skies above South Florida, normally very crowded airspace on a Friday night. Right now, just a few flights bound for the Fort Lauderdale airport and none headed to Miami International. Right now, Irma is slamming Cuba and the Bahamas. And this is what it looked like earlier as Irma made landfall in the southern Bahamas. Low-lying islands being lashed by winds and pounding rain. But this is just the beginning of the storm's arrival. In Cuba, churning surf, beachside flooding, Irma's calling card. This is the eastern side of the island, first to feel Irma's wrath, but it will be feeling the full brunt of the storm later tonight. And the Turks and Caicos slammed overnight by Irma. One local resident said the hurricane came thundering through. Tiny island woke up to severe damage and flooding.
For those refusing to evacuate, this is what they can expect. A resident of Tortola rode out the storm in his home, posted this to Twitter. The sound there is almost deafening, and you can hardly see what's going on outside through all those sheets of rain. You can also see several windows have been blown out. And this is what St. Martin looks like right now. One official says the entire island has been destroyed. People have been reporting frightening conditions with armed looters roaming the streets. They say police have been powerless to stop them. With hundreds of thousands of people ordered to evacuate in Florida, the roads there are packed. Look at this. I-75 in the Tampa area saw a steady stream of cars today. And it's been the same story in Miami. Long lines of cars on the highways and at the gas pumps. An education center turned shelter in Miami had to turn away hundreds of people as it reached capacity today. The county had plans to open 43 shelters with room for more than 100,000 people by tonight. And scientists are astounded by this satellite image. 3 hurricanes stacked up in the Atlantic. It is the first time in modern history we have ever seen this. And a couple of other firsts to tell you about. Hurricane Irma sustained winds of 185 miles an hour for 37 straight hours, which has never been seen. And those winds were also the highest on record for a storm in the Atlantic Ocean, not including the Caribbean Sea or the Gulf of Mexico.